I am hoping that my light comes soon, because
that's another
I
thing.
still look quite dark, don't I?
We're not live yet, are we?
No, not yet.
Okay, good. I was going to say something there that would have been chant ban worthy.
Go for it. Get all the profanities out now.
Just go for it now. Just mute your mic and go fucking mental.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
Stream just fucking dies. I know. Fuck it. We're going live now.
Cool. We're live, so.
So, Chris, how racist are you?
Me? I'm a Christian boy. I go to church every Sunday.
That's right.
So yeah, like, I don't want to risk buckling my laptop even more than it is at the moment. So I render one video a day and that's it, because like I don't want to do 2 videos after each other, because like my laptop be like, hey.
Whoa.
I gave you 1, okay? 2, you're asking for it, okay?
Bill Gates is like, you need to give me a bit more money for that sort
Yeah,
of thing.
come on, you know.
Fucking Bill Gates is sweating somewhere when Chris starts rendering a video.
Yeah. Although he did step down, didn't he, recently?
Did
he? Yeah, he stepped down as like chairman or something like that. So he's you know, his hands are clean of Microsoft's blood money.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Can you just go to twitch.com/, actually I'll chuck it in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not going to do it on my laptop, that's for sure.
I'm sure that's what it is.
All right.
You should just try to click on it.
You should.
I should come, is it?
Couldn't last 2 minutes, could he?
Excuse me?
He couldn't last 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes I can do it like 6 times.
I would write a message in chat just to see if it's
Oh, I was just to make sure that it was coming up, like, because I wasn't sure what was what. Just call me a cunt.
He's throwing up big guns. Look at that. He just went straight in there with that. No messing.
I think I should put up a sign somewhere saying "Do not swear."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you notice how none of us actually were like fighting that?
I think you should.
Here we are. Oh my god, it's us.
We're famous.
Oh, there's a very little delay as well. That's actually quite cool.
Oh, it's like Inception, but better.
Wow. Do you think Hans Zimmer was on a stream to compose our stream for us?
Oh, I was on to Zimmer earlier. Zimmy boy, he wants me to call him now. I said, here, can you make a song for our YouTube intro? And he said, what key do you want in? And I said, F. And he said, okay.
Oh, the Zimmo. We're getting Zimmoed. I love it.
Zimmerman.
Give me just a second.
Cool.
My Twitch is having a bit of a moment.
I don't get why Twitch is ahead of my phone and behind my laptop. I don't. Anyway. I'll leave it playing away there. It should keep playing away. So yeah, besides laptop exploding and stuff, between Resident Evil, I've been popping back to Doom to try to unlock all the series stuff.
Oh, aye.
Like the weekly challenges and stuff. But my game is still bugged. I have everything done in the campaign, but so just to go back before my Ultra Nightmare run, there's a chat, like you get all the weapon challenges, you know, complete all the weapons with all the weapon mods, blah blah blah. I've done that, but like before that, my shotgun, so if I equip the sticky bomb or the full auto mod, the second I'd fire it, my game would crash instantly down to the desktop. No errors. So I was like, okay, the game doesn't want me to use this, let's not use it. So on my Ultra Nightmare run, I got the combat mastery for it, but it's still shown as like locked in my like milestones, and I'm just like, how the fuck am I going to fix this? Because I got the rewards for them, but it just showing is like, it's annoying. Like I've unlocked all the goodies for it, but like just my OCD is just like it's not unlocked in the menu. It still shows like 3 left. Been trying some battle mode. Battle mode is bleh. It's very hit or miss. Like you get good games where like both the demons and yourself as a slayer are really good. Then you get games where it's just like everyone's a fucking potato, and then you just get games in where someone's losing and they just disconnect. I will say that I've raged at that before as well. Like I've been dashing around as a slayer really good. I get behind a wall and then I just like explode into pieces, and I'm just like, what?
What bugs me is the random like force fields that go up in front of them. It's like there's loads of times as a slayer that I'd almost killed them, and then up would pop just a fucking force field in front of them. Then it's like, what's the point?
Oh, cool. Thanks.
Why even bother? Thanks, guys.
Thanks. I really enjoyed playing this game online.
I'm so proud of this community.
Like the Doom Discord, there's a lot of feedback, like constantly, non-stop, about battle mode and stuff here and there, and there's announcements by the Discord team, like hey guys, update 1 is blah blah blah, and you can do reacts like Facebook, but you can do any emote you want, and people just keep typing like MICKGORDON. I want to take a screenshot, but at the same time I got my laptop. You know what?
Chris has left the chat.
I've been
just completely shut down, like.
I've been here we go. This
Brilliant.
is boy fix. There's actually Mick Gordon emotes on there as well, so that's pretty cool.
Cool.
Which one is the fake one? There's 2 Skypes open.
The fake Skype.
There we go. So like you can see people reacting to certain things, and like people spilling out Mick Gordon because of the whole entire Mick Gordon controversy. Yeah. You can only like put in 1 of each, so like we ran out of O's, so we had to do a different O.
Like a 0.
Yeah.
Like a 0, yeah.
Any post, no matter what it's related to, Mick Gordon gets slapped in there, and it's great.
To be fair, it's a fucking joke, like.
Oh, it's ridiculous, like.
But like at the same time, this is like people, like, getting pissed off that it's not yet. So like, there's blame to go fucking everywhere. I wouldn't just blame Bethesda in themselves. Like they're the biggest proponent of it, but like at the same time, I'd say like people are pissed off that it's not out, so they're like, fuck, we need to get it out. So they just rushed it, like.
Yeah, they basically just like as I visited the lead audio designer, what's his name, Chad Mossholder, I think, for id. I visited his Twitter page, and it's
I thought you were going to say visit his house.
I visited his house. How dare you? How dare you, sir? Knock, knock, knock. Rip
Get
and tear.
Rip and tear, bitch.
So anyway, I started blasting. And like his Twitter isn't really active, but like there was one post recently, and people were just dogpiling him. It's just like, fuck you, you suck. How dare you do this to Mick Gordon? And I'm just like thinking to myself, how do we even know he did anything with it? He could have been just told, you do this now, or like we don't know.
What's happened is Mick Gordon has gave him the raw tracks, or Bethesda gave him the raw tracks. Like, here, you need to mix this, and he's like, okay, and he's just opened it and went, what the fuck, and he's just save as, and made a new one, and then just exported it and just left it and just hoped nobody would notice, and just like, done that anymore.
He opened it and saw that Mick Gordon left it as like lawnmower.mp3, and he's like, oh, shit.
I've never had to mix a fucking lawnmower before.
But it's just like we have no information, and it's just it's weird that Mick got like 11 tracks mixed before he was just basically told like tough shit, it's going out. Or he didn't even get told, because like he was as confused as anyone else as what the hell was going on. Like, so
was that 11 that you had done? Was it?
According to my Spotify, which I have right here.
According to my Spotify.
Let me just check the interwebs.
Yeah, 11 tracks.
Tinternet.
A lot of them really good, and you can tell the difference.
But like, how many tracks are in total? There's like 40 or something, isn't there?
59 tracks in total. It's over 4 hours long, the soundtrack.
Fuck's sake, man.
Yeah, which is like, don't get me wrong, like Mick Gordon stuff is like the top tier in that soundtrack because you can hear the quality, you can hear the mix in your headphones, you can hear like the dynamics and stuff.
I can really feel that lawnmower.
Yeah. Oh man, I can just hear it revving up. I can hear. Oh, I can hear people
that sounds like a Black and Decker. That's amazing.
Oh my god. Scientist stated. Soundtrack sounds phenomenal anyway. It's just a shame that, like, you know, when you hear tracks like BFG Division 2020, what that could have been if he was left to do his own thing instead of just been like, you know, we're going to talk, you know, because we're Bethesda, we ruin everything. Like, I don't get it. It's just like, here you go. Here's the key to the city. You've got the fans on your side for once. No, I don't want that at all. Let's release Fallout 76 shit again.
Yeah. Oh god, I know.
It's annoying because, like, the man, like,
they have
anytime
so
I
much
see him,
potential.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
what.
Like,
They've got the ability to like knock it out of the park, but they're just, I don't know. Just like they're like, I don't know. People will still buy it, I suppose. Whatever.
oh,
Yes, Chris. People will still buy it.
yes.
Yeah.
There's always some fucking sucker out there.
I just feel sorry for Mick, like, because, like mentioned in a few interviews, like, the man puts everything he can into it, and like, he could have just basically left the soundtrack as is and just, like, you know, chucked it out, but he wanted to make it like a cohesive, like, soundtrack experience for the official OST release. Because, like, I don't know if I was talking about this on our first podcast or if I was talking about it in one of our chats, but like each track in the game is like 30 minutes long, and each track, like, within each track there's like 10 different segments depending on what you're doing. Like, if you're just chilling out, you know, there's gonna be like a low rhythm building, and then
it's reactive to the gameplay.
Yeah, it kind of adapts to what you're playing as. So, like, he was trying to get those pieces and then bring it down into like a 7-minute track. Whereas it just seems like whatever he had, like, raw wise, like, you know, okay, this is probably going to be my idea, I'm not going to touch it yet. They just took it, compressed it, and they chucked it out, which is a shame. I'm going to stop talking about this now because I'm going to get angry and go to the subreddit and make more Gordon memes.
Chris is going to be like, peace out, guys.
Justice for me.
Local man arrested for blaring metal music non-stop. But yeah, besides Doom and Resident Evil, there's not really much game-wise on my horizon. I'm probably going to go back now and play some other Resident Evil games because doing a deep dive into Resident Evil 3 recently, I'm kind of missing the older ones. And it's been a while since I played Resident Evil 4, so that's probably going to be the next one I'm going to dive into.
Before they remastered it.
Yeah.
In 6 months. The even more HDR.
What is it, like another 5 years before that comes out? I wouldn't worry.
Yeah. Unless they do another HD remake between here and there.
Everyone's just pissed off. I don't know why they haven't just gone, do you know what? We put the feelers out there. Let's just not bother because everyone is fucking livid.
But like, why even Resident Evil 4? Yeah. Because Resident Evil 4 already is... What are they going to do? They're just going to cut content. There you go, bang. 40 quid, please.
But, like, everyone is going on about Code Veronica. Like, why aren't they doing Code Veronica? That would be the obvious choice, but no, they're going for 4. So
I've never played Code Veronica. That's actually funny. I've never played that.
I wanted to save this for my review, like, of Resident Evil 3, but like,
spoiler! This just in, Chris's opinion. Everybody, shut up!
An opinion. It's about Resistance, like RE Resistance, and the pile of shit of a game that fucking is.
I've never even looked at it.
Oh, fuck me.
Just couldn't look at it.
So I've got, like, just kind of go back a bit. Like, I got Resident Evil 3 on Xbox, which was my original thing, collector's edition. And it was delayed because of the whole COVID, blah, 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 you know, everything's backlogged. That's fine. So I got a PC copy the day of release so I could play it and just play it for the weekend. Played it, blah, blah, blah. Came with Resistance, which was a separate download. Didn't even bother doing it for PC because I didn't really care about it. I just wanted Resident Evil 3. But my brother got Resident Evil on Xbox as well. So we both decided, hey, let's play some Resistance. It's online co-op. How bad could it be? It's just... It's shameful that they were like, you're getting Resident Evil 3 and Resistance. No, it's not. It was just like they were going to release Resistance as a full game. They saw the backlash, like the massive backlash they were getting, and they were like, nah, let's tack it onto Resident Evil 3 and pretend it's included.
See, I wouldn't
be Resident Evil 3.
Sorry, no, you go.
which is why Resident Evil 3 is such like a. I'll leave my thoughts for Resident Evil 3 until I'm finished my playthrough and review because
Oh, I thought you
I
were going to give it away then.
I was going to go into one there, but I probably won't because like I'll end up taking up like an hour of this call otherwise. But yeah, Resistance. Like people thought, like when the trailer first came out, it was going to be Outbreak, like File 1 and 2, like remade, and I was pumped. I was like, oh my god, Outbreak is just basically classic Resident Evil with online. Like it still has puzzles, it still has fixed cameras. You have a different amount of characters. There's tons of items. There's tons of bosses. That has so much like enemy variety. Like you go into a zoo, there's like tigers, there's like lions, there's like elephants, there's all sorts of things. And they'd give us this bullshit Friday 13th knockoff fucking. It's just like the gameplay is janky. Like it lags like hell. The balance of the game is completely off. If the mastermind is not getting you, he just doesn't disconnect, and he disconnects everyone from the game. And it's
nice.
just, anyway,
as soon as I seen the cover art for it, I knew it was going to be a 4v1.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I seen it, I can remember you saying it too. It's going to be a 4v1
And
but
like, I was so ignorant. I was like, no, it's not. It's going. Shut up.
You were so optimistic. With your fucking thoughts. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Resident Evil 3 wasn't meant to come out until October, and then they'd done fucked up Resistance so much, they thought, shit, have you guys finished the Clock Tower scene yet? No, you started it yet. Alright.
Spoilers. Spoilers.
I haven't played it yet, so I played the original, but not this one.
Oh, have you played the?
I can't wait for your review, Chris. I can't wait till you do a video review. That's fucking good. You fucking press.
I'm so conflicted. Like,
to be fair, it's one of those games that I'm just kind of watching your playthrough of it. To be honest, Chris.
Oh right.
I'm just kind of like, I'll see what happens when he completes it.
Like, I'm gonna say, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it for what it was. At the same time, people were saying that it's like a glorified DLC. It's 100% that. Like, there is no way this should have been a standalone game. This should have been something that was added on to.
I mean, I have actually played the second, the remake of whatever. But I have heard that game is just phenomenal when it comes to
Resident Evil 2 is fantastic. And the mods as well. Oh my god. I can't wait to make this video. I actually can't wait.
That's for a separate one, yeah, too right. But as for a game, I mean, I've heard good things, but then I think the third one, I don't think it would have done as well if the second remake hadn't have been so good. You know, that's just from what I've seen anyway.
I'd say they're trying to strike when trying to strike when the iron was hot. So to say.
Yeah.
I should have been really suspicious when the game was announced the same year that Resident Evil 2 came out. Like, Resident Evil 2 came out January last year, towards the end of it, and then Remake 3 was like announced in like October or something like that. It was announced in a PS Now, or sorry, PS
right.
Access
PS
or something. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
But I remember everybody at the same time was like, "Give us Resident Evil 3." Like Resident Evil 2 was barely even out yet. Nobody had even completed it yet, and they're like,
people in comments,
"Give us number 3. When we get number 3." And they were probably like, "You're going to get in 2021." But then they would have fucked up Resistance so much.
I would have waited like 4 years if they gave us the same quality and the amount of content in Resident Evil 2 Remake than they did with RE3. I'm so conflicted because like I enjoy playing it, but at the same time I'm like, ooh, this part is missing. Ooh, this part is missing.
It doesn't feel fulfilling to have actually played it.
See,
like,
I think
when I finished.
No, sorry. When you go.
No. Sorry.
No, I'm not talking.
No. It's okay.
I played Resident Evil 2 to death. Like when I had it on the N64. Like I can't remember how many times I've completed the game. But like I never had the same thing with Resident Evil 3 because I borrowed it off a mate to play, so I only got like the one playthrough. So when I'm playing this through now, everything's still kind of new, and I'm only making connections when I'm going back and replaying certain things. I'm going to actually go back and play the original one, just going to see what is
the
missing.
Original remake or the actual original?
Or the actual original, aye.
There's actually official PC port for it as well.
Is there?
Yeah, you can obviously like do. See, the problem is there's no like controller support, so you have to do like DS keys kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
You like map your keyboard and stuff. but it's like it's way faster. I think you can skip cutscenes and stuff as well. Well, for a first playthrough, obviously you wouldn't want to do that, but like as someone like myself now, I'm like, oh sweet, cool, yeah, speedrun. And there's like HD mods and there's like a randomizer for it now as well, which is cool. But like as someone who played the original RE3 to death, like when I got to the end of the remake, I was like, that's it. Whereas Resident Evil 2 remake, I was like, oh man, no, that was a solid experience. So happy, you know. I was like, there was one or two things missing from the RE2 remake, but overall, it was just like, you know, from.
I think the things they put in RE2 made up for the few things they'd missed.
Oh, definitely. Like
Mr. X and himself was like Mr. X. The way they done that, how the fuck they managed to know the Nemesis is good or better. I think they missed the boat on Nemesis.
Grenade, bye bye.
Aye, nade. Where's Nemi keeping all these fucking boxes, mate?
Up his coochie.
It's Jaxie.
It's like. It's like.
It's gonna sound a bit deeper than that, man.
What?
Like on the higher difficulties, Nemesis is like terrifying. Like he's really terrifying, but at the same time, it's still the same thing. Like dodge, grenade, dodge.
But like
grenade.
the video you sent me looks almost comical in a sense because he's just like
it's
he's
like
just
someone like a speed like slider up. Instead of like being like, you know, kind of organic, it's just like someone's like sped up the footage.
Because he's literally just like.
I don't know if I've shown James that. No.
I don't think you have, but I was going to say I did notice that he was pretty quick considering it didn't really flow. It was like they put a speeder up on it when you were running through one bit. I think you were trying to get through a door and you were like behind. He was behind, and then like you like went to run through the door, and then all of a sudden he was like inside of you. He was like pushing.
Yeah.
You. And you were like,
he was.
Fuck.
Yeah, he was inside the donut shop. Like it's weird. A lot of it to do with camera manipulation. So like the first time I encounter him when he busts out through the wall in the power station, if you leg it past him and keep your camera focused on, he'll jump ahead of you. But if you keep your camera trained on him, he can't do it because, you know, no camera tricks. And the fact that he's weak ass to grenades as well, that's cool. Just like lol, grenade down for 30 seconds. Thank you for the free box. It's like in the original, he did drop items, but he didn't drop items until you cleared the game once and then went back on hard mode. He doesn't do it on easy. And you had way more encounters with him in the original. Like I can count on one hand how many times you encounter him that not boss fights in the remake. But in the original, I have to like, okay, one hand, two hand, three hand, four hand. You know, it's just.
But like in the remake, he's almost just put in for like jump scare factor. Yeah. Because like in the original, like you'd hear him saying stars, and then you'd start panicking because you wouldn't see him.
Yeah.
And then you'd forget.
And the music would start playing.
Then you'd forget about him, and then he'd fucking bust through a wall. But then it's like the first time I played it, I was almost like Nemesis is going to jump through the wall here. There he is. Like it was kind of like easy to call when he was going to come the first time. Like, hey. Yeah, like
predictable.
Gave big open areas with no enemies, no items around, and you're like, this is a Nemesis area. Like I think it's coming up in the next episode, or maybe the next episode after, next whatever. He jumps down off a building. And you just know that, like, before that happens, it's like, okay, Nemesis is going to appear. It's just, like, no brainer. It's just like, he's going, and there he is. Like, I love how, like, you know, how, like, tall he is and, like, you know, his overall design, I think, is really cool. Like, he just looks like a fucking, like, Titan. But
well, that's what he should look like, isn't it? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean.
You know, it's ridiculous.
I didn't like the intro to the game. Like, the live action sequences. It reminded me too much of the movie, and at first I was kind of like, I don't know what this like, and then I don't know.
I was very confused when I played it. I was like, what the fuck is this? I thought I was like, okay, did I boot up the Resident Evil movies or did I, you know? And you can tell it's done by a B company, like B Team or whatever. Just the intro to that game in general, it's like I'm on like playthrough like 15 now. And have like that entire thing is just like literally on rails, hold interactive gameplay, by the way, hold W. Oh my god, scary. Like the intro is like 2 minutes 15 seconds if you do everything really fast. And then like get up in street level, then it's like 5 minutes, and that's just like I have a save now on PC where I just like load up to that point, so I don't have to do that fucking intro anymore. And I was very tempted to do it for my playthrough, but I was like, no, everyone has to see it. If everyone has to stick to this bullshit, so do I now.
No, I wasn't talking about the bit in our apartment. I was talking about the opening sequence,
I know.
as in like the live action thing. Yeah.
I don't like the open sequence when you're playing as Jill, like in first person. That's cool and all, but when you're doing that every single time on a new playthrough and you can't skip it, I'm just like, ooh, boy, I want to move. I
was gonna say, you can hear the frustration in your voice as you're playing it. You're like, oh yeah, I'm just trying my hardest here. Yeah, I'll just go with this now.
I'm like, I have subtitles on. I'm like, oh, I don't want to talk during this cutscene, but at the same time, I want to play the game. Oh God, it's just. Yeah, I'll go a bit like I'm thinking my review is just going to be like maybe like 10 minutes. I don't want to draw it out because like there is a lot to talk about, but at the same time I just want to be like, look, this is what I thought of it. This is what I was missing. You know, kind of like an addition to the playthrough. Sorry, just like kind of like an extra kind of video.
Oh yeah.
Not kind of like because there's people up there who do like hour-long analysis, and I'm just like, I ain't about that.
Oh
yeah. That's not doing it, Chris.
That's fair enough.
No. Anyway, that's my rant over anyway.
I would say it's worth getting, but I would say it's definitely not worth what they're asking for. It's definitely like a sales game, like.
Or if you're buying Resident Evil 2, buy it into like the Raccoon City bundle where it's like 2 and 3 together. Don't like because you can get them together for like I think it's like 45 at the moment. They have a Resident Evil sale on Xbox at the moment. I assume it would be on PlayStation as well.
I'd imagine so, yeah.
But as someone who spent €40 on it in PC and then bought the collector's and Xbox, I wouldn't recommend buying it at full price.
What I'm hoping this means though is that like they kind of bring it back to a positive note. After the backlash they've had for this, hopefully the DLC that they're going to bring out is going to be fucking phenomenal. Because the fact they never had like other characters, like you could play as Carlos for like a short time, and then they never had any alternate endings or anything like that. And the fact that Kendo's bit was pointless. Oh hey Kendo, what's in the door? Never mind. Bye.
Like, yeah.
hopefully the DLC that they're going to bring out for it is going to fucking add another couple of hours at least to the game.
Well, you'd hope so. I mean, I'm not being funny. They've got to have heard now from the reaction of the fans of what they're disappointed with. So surely they're not that stupid.
Yeah, and they released an official survey as well, asking people for feedback.
Oh, really?
And people are just typing in Mick Gordon.
Yeah. Wrong game, guys. Don't care Mick Gordon.
Just give Mick Gordon to your soundtrack.
I spent like a good 20 minutes with that survey, and then it got to the end. It's like, do you have anything that you want to tell us? And there's like 2,000 characters, and I spent like a good hour with that. I was like, look, guys, that's it. Like,
mixing out A's and the's and ands.
Like, put in perspective, the original Resident Evil 3 had 7 unlockable costumes. In Resident Evil 3 Remake, not including DLC order, there's only 1 unlockable costume. 1, that's it. So, right? You're like, okay, fair enough. I don't know what the fuck you're doing, Capcom. Fast forward a few weeks after release, Jill is now a playable character in Resident Evil Resistance. And what did they do? They give Jill 6 costumes in that. Some of them are just like, color variants, but two of them are like unique. One is like makes her look like Sarah Connor from fucking Terminator 2, which looks really cool. And I'm like, why couldn't you do that for Resident Evil 3? Like,
see, that is evident. Well, that makes me think even more of the fact that they were planning to release this later.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'd say Resistance was probably meant to be first, and then people were like, the fuck? And then they were like, oh shit, that's not it. Here's half a game.
Yeah.
And then they were just like, oh fuck.
If they split the games, no one would play Resistance. They just go straight to Resident Evil 3. Like,
that's why. I didn't even make it past the fucking, what's it called? The demo levels, like the introduction levels.
Oh, the tutorial.
The tutorial, like fucking hell.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even make it past that. I went the mastermind, and then it was literally like a bigger gamey like fucking Clash Royale, where you just put shit down. I was going to put a zombie here behind the door, hope for the best, and then I played as a survivor, and then I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, nah, fuck this. I know this isn't for me.
You know what's fun about Resistance as well? When you're
Turn
a
it
new player,
off.
level 1. Yeah, exactly. Just turn it off, take it out of your Xbox, and just flick it out the window. You'll get more value out of it. Being a level 1, and then everyone in your party being a level 1, and then you've been matched up with a level 50 mastermind. That's cool. You know?
Matchmaking.
Thanks
That's
for that,
that's some Dark Souls matchmaking right there.
Yeah, this is Dark Souls of matchmaking. So like that unlocked the thing with Jill. Like that really made me sour. I was like, and you can earn them in game, but a lot of them is down to like microtransactions, and I'm just like, ooh, Casper. Ooh, doozy, woozy.
So many companies are doing that now. Pay to win bollocks. It's stupid. It drives me insane.
If Resident Evil 3 Remake was a full game with all the goodies that the original had, and maybe some extra, because like Resident Evil 2 like had everything. It had like the hunk mode, it had tofu, and then it had free DLC which expanded, and I was like, Jesus, free DLC at that. I was like, Jesus Christ, guys, 2 was amazing on its own, but you give us more content for free.
And it was good DLC as well.
Yeah, it was really good.
Like it wasn't necessarily story, but it was good fucking DLC. Like
like I'd put a good I'd say 5 or 6 hours into the DLC, and like that was just trying to perfect everything. Like
Resident Evil 2 had like a lot of replay value. Like a lot of it.
Huge.
But like Resident Evil 3, when I finished it, like I didn't really feel like I wanted to go back and play it. And then when they unlocked the shop, I was kind of like, well, it might be fun to try and unlock the rocket launcher and then just run about. But then I'm like, would I really bother? Like, would I really try and get like 130,000 fucking points to get a rocket launcher? Like,
it's just like, for me, I just kind of wanted to like, look, I'm in this now. I'm going to unlock it, just because like, obviously, I have the time to do it. Like, I know, I don't have kids to look after, or don't have.
Keane loves watching me play Resident Evil.
Oh man,
I'm only kidding.
Let him take over.
That's one of the main reasons why I can't finish Doom at the moment. Oh, I'm trying to finish Doom, should I say?
Are you stuck at the Marauder as well? Yeah.
Well, you've heard about where I was stuck before, man.
You didn't even get to the fucking Marauder,
eh? But no, it's just because my little one is just too small to be watching that. So I only have like a certain amount of time in the night. I need to start blitzing it though. I need to get on it. But I've also done the bad thing of like watching spoiler reviews of Final Fantasy VII now that I've finished the story. Oh man, I am definitely only about halfway through that game.
Damn.
Even though the story has actually finished, there is so much still to do, and I'm kind of like, I do want to go back and go through all the extra stuff that they put in there. There's battles and stuff that open up, and you can do hard mode, and so I'm kind of torn at the moment. Do I go back and play Final Fantasy VII and just completely blitz it and just get it done, or do I actually finish another game and enjoy that? I'm torn at the moment.
See, I'm mixed with Final Fantasy because they're going to be releasing it in stages. So part of me is like, I'm just going to wait until it all comes out and then play it. But then each one is like fucking 40 hours each. Like, I remember the game. I put about 100 hours into the game. And like each part now is like a full-on game. It's like about 30, 40, 50 hours of gameplay.
Right. So this is one of my things. The amount of people that say like, okay, Final Fantasy VII, it's only the beginning of the game. It's only the first part of the game. That game took me 45 hours to complete. Right. They've stretched the story out so much, and it's amazing. And I won't give any spoilers away because I do think if you guys get a chance, you should sit down and play it. But honestly, there is so much more to this game than what the original was. And I think people are just kind of going off, oh, well, Midgar was only like 5 hours in the first game. The other however many hours was, other things, and they don't even put that in there. But this story is a true remake in the sense of the story is being retold. A very different angle, and there is so much wow in it. I can't even, to see the areas that you did spend a bit of time in the original, to see them completely fleshed out, and it's like the NPCs in there. Every single one of those NPCs is fleshed out. Do you know what I mean? You could spend hours just walking around. Well, to be honest with you, I could have probably finished the story in about 30 to 35 hours, if I knew everywhere where I had to go. But half of the time I was just gazing around, taking it all in. It was so beautiful. They've really put the time and effort in, and yeah, it's a pain in the ass that it's in stages, and I kind of get that. But I mean, Final Fantasy was a big enough game when it was just text-based, without all the voice acting, without all the up-to-date graphics, without the new battle system. It's an incredible game, and I think you'd be silly to kind of have that kind of mentality of like, oh well, yeah, it's just a remake of the original game, and it's really.
Is that how I sounded when I said it?
You know what? It did.
Like
no,
when I first had that thought, it was more when I thought they were going to release it in stages, as in the first part was going to be like 12 hours, and then the second part was going to be like 13 hours. How many parts are they releasing in? Do you know?
No, they haven't released it yet. Square Enix are being very sort of like quiet about how many they're actually releasing it as, mainly because I don't think they truly know how they're actually going to put all this together.
Like, remember the original was in 3 discs. Like, do you remember where the first disc ended?
The first disc ends when you actually leave Midgar, I believe.
Okay.
No. Oh, it's not. No, it's not. Where does... I can't remember.
I don't know.
Off the top of my head. But I know for a fact that there is so much content on all of those discs. And I mean, I mean, only from what I've seen on reviews and sort of people talking about it, but apparently the original was supposed to be actually called Midgar.
Right.
They were actually going to call it Final Fantasy Midgar, but they called it Final Fantasy Remake. But I like what Square Enix have done with it. I really do, because they've kind of thought, right, we want to do fan service for the original fans, but we also want to bring it into a new sort of era and genre. And the way it plays, I've heard a lot of people kicking off about the battle style, because obviously it's not turn-based.
I was going to ask you about that.
Well, this is the thing. The actual battle format of it is quite a weird one. It's very similar to it reminded me a lot of Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy 15. If they kind of just, it's very unique, but I like it because it's still got that kind of turn-based sort of aspect. And if you are really like hardcore, I have to play it turn-based, there is an option where you can play classic, and it does kind of work like that. So it's more turn-based. But I love the new style of battle. I didn't know how I was going to take it, and I was looking at it like, oh, this is something unfamiliar with a game that I obviously wanted to be very familiar. But to be fair, I was, it took me a good hour or two to kind of get to grips with it. But as you go along, it sort of opens up a little bit. It kind of holds your hand in the first sort of hour or two, and then after that, it's kind of like, why didn't you try this? Why didn't you try that? Oh, you can mix these together, and by the end of it, you're not even paying attention to what you're doing. You're just kind of like naturally going with it. So it's really good in that respect.
No.
Said something.
You played Crisis Core, I assume.
Oh yeah.
How is it compared to the battle system in that? Because I liked the battle system in Crisis Core. Like, I thought it was.
Yeah.
I liked the turn-based thing, but I liked how the kind of free roaming thing was. I like that better.
Yeah.
Would you say it's similar to that, or is it?
Yeah, it's not too dissimilar to that. It's not it's not like worlds apart. But I think if I was going to compare it to anything closer, it'd be more like Kingdom Hearts. If you played that one, very similar to that sort of style. But again, it's very different and very unique as well. It's a good mixture of a few different things. But I recommend everyone play it. Whether you're a fan of the original or not, it's an old story being retold in a very different way. The only thing I will say, and this is kind of going into sort of what I'm going to talk about when I do eventually get around to doing the video, it's definitely one of those where if you haven't played the original, or you haven't seen or you haven't played Crisis Core, or you haven't seen Advent Children, there are going to be parts, especially towards the end, that are going to be really confusing. They could have done My only criticism on the actual game is they should have done a little bit more explaining really about some of the characters and who they were and what their story. The original, the sort of Cloud Barrett, Tifa, Red 13, all that kind of stuff. All their stories are kind of in there. But then...
Do you think they're just assuming maybe people know?
Well, I'd imagine... I don't know this, but I'd say about at least 70% of the people playing this game now are probably from our sort of era of gaming, where they played that game. Again, I don't know that, but even so, do you know what I mean?
Aye. And how did the summons work in it? Because I remember the cutscenes for the summons in the original were sweet as fuck. So how did they look in the remake?
Amazing.
Aye.
Honestly, to see like Bahamut and Shiva and all that kind of stuff.
Because there was Ifrit. I remember seeing like Ifrit was like the first one you get, and like his cutscene when he's summoned in the original was amazing. Is it the same thing in the remake? Like, does it cut away to like a big scene, or does it just appear?
Right. So the way it works is the summon actually fights alongside you, and so you'll have this little summon that fights alongside, or big summon, whatever it is. Sorry, I was thinking with the copy that I got. I actually got the cacti, so you get the little cacti.
Oh yeah.
10,000 needles, and it's just like shooting them all the time, and then literally just before the summon is finished, it then goes to like a brief cutscene of it explode, whatever the big move is. So like I said, it's amazing. It's really good.
There's Knights of the Round Table as well, the big one at the end.
You're not gonna see that anytime soon, because
that's not going to be till way at the end, I'd say. Like,
that is,
because think what you need to do to get that in the original. Like,
well, this is it. I do you know what? To this day, I still love it. Even though it takes like 15 minutes to watch. That's
it's amazing, eh?
Yeah, you're there, and you're just like, I'm just gonna chill back. Yeah, cool. Oh, there it is. Yeah, no.
The remake seems like it was made for the fans, like as in made with so much love for the fans, and obviously new people coming in, which kind of breaks my heart, because like I see that. Like, they put so much love into the fans and for new people. They basically taken the original and just like poured it full of love. Whereas, not to talk about this any longer after this, but Resident Evil 3 wasn't made for the fans. It was just made for. It was just made for this generation. Like, it just new gamers. It was like fuck you fans. Like, fuck you. Whereas where I'm seeing videos and people talking about Final Fantasy VII, they're like, oh man, I can't believe they did this. Back in the original, it was this, and then you could see this, like, from the screenshots I'm seeing. I was like, holy shit. I have not had that moment in Resident Evil 3. I've not gone to someone like, oh man, remember that in the original? No, because they didn't fucking bring it into the remake. Anyway.
No.
I think.
No. I think that's right. I think you're right what you're saying, in the sense of, this was really, really made for the fans, and it was made for a new generation as well. And that's something I can't actually stress enough with it, is the fact that it actually is, it caters to both. But like I said, it caters more to the fans than it does the newbies, because like I said, there's so many points where it's like you would have either had to have seen Crisis Core, played Crisis Core, or seen Advent Children to kind of get some of the bits in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, there was definitely a lot of love, and they brought in some new stuff. I mean, they recomposed the whole soundtrack, which, by the way, is phenomenal. Honestly, that was one thing I properly gushed over, was just some of the remake soundtrack. It was just
like, I remember Aerith's theme back in the day, just on MIDI, was amazing. So I hear what it's
soundtrack today sounds amazing. Like, the old school soundtrack today sounds phenomenal as well. But hearing the reorchestrated version of like Those Who Fight is like,
I know. And do you know what? There's probably about 50 different versions of that alone.
Yeah, it's just like
in the game.
Man, I'm gonna wait until it comes out on PC to play it, because I feel like by then I'll have like a fleshed out system and I'll play it, like, blah blah. But
in all its glory. I bet it's going to look even better. I mean, I'm playing PS4 Pro, and do you know what? I heard people bitching about textures and stuff like that online, and it's just like, I didn't notice any of it, man. I was just too absorbed in the beauty of the world. Do you know what I mean?
90% of what I've seen just looks like completely insane. Like, you know, the scape of like Midgar is insane.
Yeah.
But you want to get someone's like, oh my god, that rock over there next to NPC3 looks shit. It's like,
it is literally that. It's like, oh, did you see that poster? It's really pixely.
Ruined my experience. I want a refund. It's like,
oh my god, stressed me out so much. But
some people just look to complain, like that's what it is.
It really is. I mean, I'm not being funny, but like, when you play the game, there's a scene. Obviously, if you remember the original game, there's a scene where you reach Genova for the first time, and like the fucking video that they had in Final Fantasy VII, the original, when you first reach Genova, it's just like, in comparison, they're worlds apart. It looks so much crazier and better than you could have ever imagined. Honestly, it's just like, I gush about this game. I know I do, but
do you?
No,
I'm going to just be asking loads of questions about Final Fantasy VII, brother.
No, do it.
How do you meet Sephiroth, or do you have any interaction with Sephiroth in this one?
Yeah.
How much? Is it like just like kind of introductory stages, or is it like?
So no.
Obviously, spoiler free.
Yeah, so I kind of got to be careful how I tell you this, but let's just put it this way: throughout the game, you see Sephiroth here and there, and I know that they sort of show it in the trailer, so it's not really that much of a spoiler. But in the very early on in the game, is when you first kind of come across him and you see him, and it's like, oh shit, is this going to be a fight? Is this going to be? But it is.
Oh, because there's, sorry to interrupt you now, but I remember the flashback in the original one where like he goes bananas and basically sets fire to the tune, and then there's that FMV him like turning away in the fire and walking through.
Yeah, walking through the fire. Yeah,
that just popped into my mind there.
Nibelheim. Yeah, is it Nibelheim? The place where no, that scene is kind of in there as well. That's what I mean. Is so I don't want to spoil it for anyone who may see this. But yeah, the long and short is, yes, you see Sephiroth, you see him all the way through the game, but you don't really have anything to do with Sephiroth. You don't come to blows with Sephiroth at any point apart from like quite near the end.
But like that was the case in the original as well, was it not? Like Sephiroth was there, but like it was all like it was all what's the company's name? Shinra. Like it was all Shinra and evil Shinra and stopping Shinra and blah 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 and all that, and then it kind of evolved into like actually fighting Sephiroth and the whole Genova thing and everything like that.
So again, I can't really say too much because it will just spoil the story. But what I will say again is, you do get to fight Sephiroth, but remember, this is a retelling. It's not the same story.
It's not a remake. It's not like a scene for scene remake.
One remake.
Yeah.
It's kind of shit that they called it a remake because it's more a reimagining. It's more a retelling of that story. And I like
Capcom.
Yeah. You watch Resident Evil 4 now, you're just like, exactly the same thing. We listen to Chris. Chris went on that live stream and chatted for a good half hour about this. I think we.
You really made us think. Yeah. Chris's name will appear in the credits of the game. It would just be Chris. That's all. Just Chris's name will scroll up. It'll stop.
Who the fuck is this Chris guy? You'll have all these Japanese names and then just Chris, and then back to the Japanese names.
Who's a Chris Ruderi?
Oh, Chris Ruderi ruined everything. Nippon Steel. Well, that's your stream getting shut down. Hi Twitch mods, how are we doing?
There's nobody watching it. It doesn't matter.
That poor Twitch mod now is crying in stealth mode now. I'm watching.
Stealth mode. Definitely getting banned now, cunt.
No one gets to watch.
But yeah, no, I completely agree. I got to be honest with you. It would be nice to see more companies actually do this whole reimagining thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's a fan base out there that's completely pissed off with it, like that are absolutely fucking livid. Like, they've ruined my story, they've ruined my game. But I gotta be fair. For me personally, I love the original story. Like, that has always been the game that I've had with me since I was a kid. It's the only game that survived, even when my PlayStations and all disappeared. That was the one game that I'm actually managed to hold on to. That's how much that game is near and dear to me. Like, so I am extremely happy, and like I said, there's so much fan service that I don't know how many people could be really upset with what they did. I'm a big Square Enix fan anyway, so you know. In terms of companies, they're my sort of like favorite. If they release it, I know I'm pretty much going to be happy. So
I'm definitely looking to.
Like I said, yeah.
You've sold me. You've sold me. You sold me.
Yeah, no. I mean, like I said, I know you've got PlayStations, but if you're going to wait for the computer version or whatever, then do it. It's gonna be worth the wait.
I'm not fussy the way, to be honest.
I'm just waiting for the Tifa mods, you know.
Oh, that's when you get on PC. Yes.
Oh man.
Tifa big tits. Oh yes.
I mean, to be fair, they're pretty big anyway in this game. You know, you're kind of like, okay, this is too real now. I'm sure the 10-year-olds and most of the fans are all like,
I remember playing it the first time, only being wee and looking at the big square boobs and thinking, give me some of them jagged edges.
Triangles, you know.
Oh yes, they're actual peaks.
Bit of Lara Croft. Sorry, I was looking at. I've actually got a little figure of Lara Croft, not the pixelated version.
I'm gonna add in some kind of like dreamy music there when you start looking up Lara Croft.
Oh god.
Oh man.
Pixelated tits, man. They were the best back in the day, weren't they?
Fucking damn right. They're still the best. What are you talking about?
I know. Oh man, yeah. I'm just trying to think of. There was a fighting game that was ridiculous like that back on PS1, but I can't think.
Dead or Alive.
Was it Dead or Alive?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Rival Schools was in my head.
Oh, I don't know. The only thing I remember about Dead or Alive is a magazine came out once that was like a computer game magazine, but I had like a big poster of two of them that were in it, and they were in their bikinis, but they were like...
Yes, I remember. I do actually remember that.
Like, it was a fucking huge poster as well. Like, I know. Full on, like, 16-page poster. Like, it was the size of a wall.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It was fucking huge.
No. I remember actually at one point having that up on my wall, and next to it having the WWE spread of Lita.
Oh,
remember that? The one up there on the beach.
Aye.
Oh yeah, those were good times.
I wish like I could go back and look at the change in my posters, because like when I first started putting posters up, there were like gaming posters, and then it became wrestling posters, and then it became wrestling and women posters. Then it was wrestling, women, and music. Then it was women and music, and then it was just music.
Yeah. Thinking about it, yeah, it was pretty much the same.
There we go again.
If you want to take a 5-minute break, guys, that's fine.
Yeah, give us a minute. I'll be right back.
James Cameron's disconnect.
You could just hear him like take down the Lara Croft figurine right back.
I just put myself in the eye.
Oh no! You're as pointy as ever.
Try more about fucking Lara Croft, and you end up coming like scratches over your face.
You come back looking like the Joker.
More like Harley Quinn.
Oh lord!
It's funny because it's true.
Yeah.
Well, that went south really quick, boys, didn't it?
If you know what I mean.
If you know what I mean.
Oh god.
Fuck's sake.
Good times, though. Good times.
Right. Well, I said, like, I'm going to end this recording here, but I'm going to start again, and then this will be one.
Round two.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, cool.
So thanks for watching, everybody, and
guys.
we'll be back in about 2 seconds.
For some people, it might be a few days.
Right.